Good morning, students. Now, today we are going to move forward in our chapter of consumer equilibrium, and our topic will be relationship between total utility and marginal utility. In the previous chapter, we already learned about what was total utility and marginal utility. So, here, let me turn on the marker. Yes, now it is working. Yes. Now, relationship between total utility and marginal utility. So, here also we will be understanding by the help of a schedule first. So what is the schedule? Basically, schedule is nothing but a table. Okay. So here there is a table in front of you. I hope this is well visible. Yes. Now here you can see the quantities are given. Okay. Quantities of units. So here you can understand that here nothing is written that what are these quantities. So we can assume here as these units are. So here we are going to assume that these units are T. Okay. So what is it like T? Let me write this TEA, that's T. Okay. Now here you are not consuming any cup of tea. Okay. So your total utility will be zero. At this point of time, your marginal utility, you are going to put a dash. Because if you're not consuming any cup of tea, that means you're not getting any kind of satisfaction. So if total utility is nothing, means zero, then marginal utility you can put dash or nothing will be there. Here, when you consume the first unit or first cup of tea, suppose you are drinking the first cup of tea. So what is happening? You got the utility of 8 here. Okay. Now, with the second cup of tea, you should get again 8, because when first cup of tea is giving you 8 utils, then the second cup should also give you the 8 utils. So this 14 should have been 16, right? But it is not the case. Here you can say that the first cup gave you 8 utils of satisfaction, but the second one, how much is the addition from here to here? It is just 6. Okay. So if first cup giving you 8 level of satisfaction, so you enjoyed that cup of tea and your satisfaction was high with the first cup of tea. Now the second cup of tea is giving you only 6 utils. Okay. So additional, see here you can see one thing, note this, that total utility is increasing from 8 to, it has been increased to 14. Okay. But the rate at which it is increasing, it is going to diminish. Like here you can see how much is the increment here. From 14 to 18, it is just 4. Now from 18 to 20, how much it is? It is just 2. Okay. Here how much you can say that here nothing has increased, so it will be a 0. Now here increase, instead of increasing, it has been decreased. So here it will be minus 2. So this is the additional which you are getting. But every time you can note that with the every single addition of that consumption of that particular commodity, which is nothing but tea. Okay. So every time you are consuming the tea, it is giving you lesser and lesser level of satisfaction. So your satisfaction is diminishing over here. Okay. And if you call this thing satisfaction, here it is written as utility. So in short, you can say that your utility tends to diminish, it decreases with the increase or increased consumption of every single commodity which has been used by you. Okay. Now what is marginal utility? So here you can see that total utility is increasing, but this rate of increment or increase, it diminish at happening at a diminishing rate. Means every time the total utility is increasing, it is increasing at a decreasing rate. So the diagram which we have discussed yesterday, the diminishing rate or decreasing rate will be like this. Okay, it tends to bend towards right. Okay, now in the case of marginal utility, your slope will be towards downward. Okay. And what is marginal utility here? In the previous video we already learnt about this. What is marginal utility? Suppose you want to calculate the marginal utility, that is MU. So how you are going to calculate? It will be total utility. Suppose you want to find it for the fourth unit here. So what is TU fourth? Okay, minus total utility n minus 1, and n is 4 over here. So 4 minus 1, which means 3. So what is the total utility at 4? At 4 the total utility is 20. Okay, so minus TU4 minus 1 will be TU3. How much was it at when third unit was consumed? It was 18. So it will be here minus 18. So answer which will come out, it is going to be 2. Okay, this is going to be the answer. So already you can see that at marginal utility which you are calculating at fourth unit, MU4 you are calculating. So at that time you can see here that the utility was, marginal utility was 2 over here. Okay, so we can find it out by the help of this formula. And this marginal utility is nothing but the additional rate. Here the additional rate is, how much is adding up over here? 6, then 4, then 2, then nothing, then 0. So this addition is written over here, 8, 6, 4, 2, 0 and minus 2. Okay, so this is the schedule. Now what is the relation? Let us understand by the help of the diagram now. Okay, on the x-axis you can take or write the units 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that. Okay, and on y-axis, on this axis you can write about the utilities. Which utility? The total utility. If you are marking units and total utility, for total utility suppose you want to draw a diagram, you will have to take this units on x-axis and this utility on y-axis. Okay, so according to it, what should be the scale? Here the difference is of 2, or you can take differences of 4 here. Here in this diagram the difference they have taken is of 4, from 0 to 4, then again 4, 8, then 12, then 16, then 20, like that they have taken. Okay, now when the first unit was consumed here, what was the total utility? It was 8. At second it was 14. Okay, so here what is happening? When the first unit was consumed, so how much it was? It was 8 here. Then at second it was increased, right? At second it was 14 because 6 marginal utility got added. So at second it was 16 over here, somewhere up over here. Okay, then at third it again rose up. At third how much it was? 18. So at third it was at 18 here. Third it was at 18. Okay, so you can see that it is increasing, but the rate at which it is increasing, it is diminishing. Okay, so this is a line of diminishing increase, means TU is increasing. This TU is increasing but at a decreasing rate. And what is the reason for this decrease? Because every time when you consume the cup of tea, the marginal utility or the satisfaction derived from from it, it tend to decrease. See, that's why this slope is moving downwards. This downward slope tells you that mu is decreasing. Okay, so it is sloping downward over here. Now it is time for the relationship. Okay, so what can we write about this relationship? Okay, so the first diagram is all about the total utility. Now here at the fifth unit, what was happening? Let us check here. At fifth unit, what was the condition of TU? It was 20. At fourth also it was 20. Means it is a stage where it was constant. At fifth unit there was no increment. Okay, so this is the just like a relationship which is happening over here. Both of these things are collected because this total of marginal utility will give you total utility. Like here if you add 8 and 6, if you will plus it, what will come? 14 will come. Then if you add 4 more, 18 will come. So it is addition. Everywhere it is addition of marginal utility. Okay. After the 6th unit, when it was consumed here, it was 18. Means there was a time when you consumed the 6th unit and your utility has fallen. So here you can see the relationship. So what will be the first relationship? Let us discuss. First thing you can see that total utility is nothing but it will be summation of marginal utility. We have seen the total is equal to 14. So like that you can see that this is the first relationship which we can see. The second relationship, which will be till this mu was positive here. You can see that's 8, 6, 4, 2. Here the marginal utility was positive. So till that it was positive, this total utility was increasing from 8 to 14, then 18, then 20, increasing. Okay. So here you can say the second relationship, till mu is positive, total utility increases. It increases. Okay. Then the third relationship, what you can see, when mu was 0, here you can see mu is 0. Okay. At the fifth unit, at that time total utility is at maximum or max. It is at max, right? Because of at the fifth unit the total utility was 20 and after that it became 18, so it was falling at last. Okay. Now the last relationship which you can see over here is when marginal utility is negative. See, it is -2 here. So when mu is negative, what happens? Total utility falls. Okay, it tend to decrease. So these are the relationship. If the question comes in paper that what is the relationship between total utility and marginal utility, so you can make the schedule. If a schedule is asked or if diagram is asked, you can draw it. Okay. Now let us move forward. Now they're telling about the same table which we already discussed. So what are they saying here? As more and more unit of commodity are consumed, the mu, the marginal utility derived from each successive unit, goes on diminishing. Okay, so when you are consuming more and more cup of tea, the satisfaction you are getting will decrease. Okay, it happens at home also. Suppose you in the morning you had 1 cup of tea, so you loved it. Okay, so your this at that point of time your total utility will be more. What will happen when you have the second cup? Just after that 1 cup, immediately, it is not like that you are actually having that cup in the evening. No, you are drinking one by one, one after the other. Okay, there is no time lag. Okay, so one after the other cup, so suddenly you had second cup also, so it will give you less satisfaction because you already had a first cup of tea. Now the third cup of tea will give you even lesser satisfaction or total utility, or you can say just utility. Okay, so this is how we can say that when we consume more and more commodity, our with every successive unit which you are continuously consuming one by one at a point of time goes on diminishing. Okay, but total utility is increasing. Okay, it increases. Okay, remember this, total utility is increasing but at a decreasing rate. Don't forget this. Now mu, marginal utility of the first 4 units being positive. So when the mu was positive, what I told you in the relationship, the total utility goes on increasing. Till the mu is positive, what is happening? Your total utility goes on increases. Till that time your total utility was increasing. Okay. Thus, as long as the MUs of the commodity remain positive, total utility goes on increasing. Again and again, they are telling you the same thing. Now, I really shortened it up for you, just 4 points. It is there in the book also. So, it is very easy here to remember just 4 points. Okay. Now, the third point, marginal utility of the fifth unit is 0. You know this thing. When the fifth unit is 0, MU. So, when MU was 0, what was the condition? When MU was equal to 0, at that time your TU was at its maximum level. What was the level? Remember here, when MU was touching here the x-axis, so how much it was? This MU was actually 0. Okay, it is also called as point of satiety or point of saturation. Okay, question can come in 1 marks, that what do you understand by point of saturation or point of satiety. So they are actually telling you when MU is 0, which is nothing but a point of satiety or point of saturation, at that time what is happening to TU? Where is it? Here. The TU is at its maximum level. Okay, so when MU is 0, TU is it as max. Now the fourth point, here in this you just need to write this: when MU is 0, total utility is at its maximum. Now here, when MU is negative, okay, here, as a result of total utility of 6 units of the commodity falls. Means what total utility? TU. So when MU is negative, TU falls. It falls. Okay. Fall, FALL falls. Okay, done. So remember these 4 relationships. Now this thing here, they're simply telling you that this thing is just the explanation of that diagram. The TU curve represents total utility. It slopes upward up to a point G. G represents maximum so total utility at the fifth unit. Okay, at the fifth unit, what was the level? The G point shows that the maximum level of total utility. Remember, what was the maximum level? Like this, it was going. Sorry, like this, it was going here, and at that point when it falls, so this is the maximum level over here. Here, this was the maximum level, this one. Okay, so this is the maximum level and it was point G. Okay, at the fifth unit after the point U, the TU slopes downwards. Okay, so what here they are trying to tell you, that after this point when it was falling here, so from this point here, this part here, you can see that the total utility was falling here. So what was the reason for this falling? Because somewhere down here, what was happening with the MU line? Remember, it was cutting this line like this somewhere, and this will join it here. Okay, so this MU line will be moving like this, marginal utility line. Okay, so this is the point where MU was 0 and TU was at its maximum level. The diagram. Okay, so after this, the sixth unit, you can say that the total utility begins to fall. Now, MU curve represent marginal utility. We know this. MU is definitely representing marginal utility now. Okay. Now it slopes downward from left to right. It means that marginal utility of successive units goes on diminishing. Okay. Now the relationship is this, which you can write along with the diagram of schedule. Okay, this is the relationship between TU and MU. Now there is a question, at which rate TU increases when MU is diminishing. So when MU diminishes, TU increases at a diminishing rate. Remember this. Okay, TU increases, but it increases at a decreasing rate or diminishing rate. Both are same. Okay. Now the next one, the law of diminishing marginal utility. One of the important question here. Now this is the psychological law of diminishing marginal utility. The intensity of the desire of a commodity tends to decrease as more and more standard unit of commodity, like a cup of tea and not a spoon of tea, a glass of milk and not a drop of milk, are consumed at a point of time, implying that the consumption of standard unit of the commodity is continuous. This is the law of diminishing marginal utility. So what they are here trying to tell you, it is very simple to understand that if you are consuming any commodity one by one after the other consecutively, okay, you're not giving gaps. It is not like that one cup of tea you are having in 9 in the morning, then the next cup you are having at 1 o'clock in afternoon. No, there's no time gap. Okay, one after the other you are consuming the cup of tea. Remember it like this. Okay, okay, or any commodity, not cup of tea, any commodity, be it mango or orange or apple or anything which you like. Why? Because every time you will consume that thing, what will happen? The utility will fall. So total utility was decreasing because of that. What was the reason? What was the MU? The increase in the total utility. It is just a rate, okay, at which your TU was increasing, and every time you have seen that marginal utility was decreasing. So the TU was increasing but at a decreasing rate. So this is the psychological law. Psychological, what is psychological law? Psychological means if a person is there, a rational person, okay, not a foolish person or a mad person, if he is consuming anything one after the other, it is a normal tendency, okay, that your satisfaction will decrease. Suppose if you are going to market for purchasing a shirt, okay, the first shirt you will purchase, you will be satisfied, your utility will be very high. With the another shirt, suppose you purchase one more shirt, what will happen after that? Again you will feel that much satisfaction? No, because already you spent money and again you derive some satisfaction, but you will not enjoy it that much because already you purchased one shirt. Okay, now again you purchase the third shirt. Imagine what will happen. Now again money is going out of your pocket. Now again you are getting that satisfaction, but you don't know that already you bought two shirts. Now now this time you are buying the third one. Okay, third shirt you are buying. So the satisfaction derived from this third unit or shirt which you have purchased, it is going to be less. This is the law of diminishing marginal utility. Okay, just like you are watching a movie, the first time when the new movie is launched, you enjoy it. Okay, then suppose your friend told you that come to the theater, I want to see movie too. Again you went to the theater, again you went to there and you spent money to buy those tickets, but you already watched the movie. Will you enjoy that movie again that much? Will it give you the same level of satisfaction as it has given you earlier? No is the answer, because you already enjoyed the movie. Now tell me this thing, will you buy or watch this movie third time? Maybe and maybe not. If you will, then still you will not be satisfying or enjoying yourself. Already you spent twice no money on it. So this time maybe you will say to your friend that no, I am satisfied, I am not going to spend money, right? So this is the time when your marginal utility is zero and you don't want to spend money because you are just going to stop at the second ticket which you have taken to watch that movie. Okay, so this is the psychological law. Now think about a person who is mad. He don't understand anything. A completely lunatic person. Okay, what will happen with him? Every time he will go to the movie. Every time he can watch, and every time he will not understand. Suppose a foolish person is going who don't understand. Then it is possible the first time, second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time he will watch the movie and still he will not understand. So this is a psychological law and there are some assumptions for it. Okay, I hope you got this concept. This is a very simple law. It is according with this law that mu is shown in the diminishing in table 1. It is important to note that mu diminishing as from 100 to 90 and 80 to 70 to 60. Here they are telling you that mu marginal utility decreases or diminishes like 100, 90, 80, 70, 60. In the earlier example also you have seen no, from 8 to it decreased to 6, then 4, then 2, then again 2, then it was 0. So it was decreasing like that. So TU tends to increase only at a diminishing rate, because mu means addition to the TU. Okay, what is the mu? It is addition to the TU. I told you this. If mu declines, if mu is falling, okay, if mu is falling like this, that is the reason that your total utility is going like this at a decreasing rate. Okay, now just do it here, this much, and the law is here. Law is very simple, or the best way, I think the straight away answer is given here. You can just note it down. You can pause the video and you can write this definition in your copies. That the law of diminishing margin utility states tells that as more and more standard of a commodity are continuously consumed, they are highlighting this word, okay, continuously consumed, marginal utility derived from every additional unit must decline. This should happen, it must decline. If it is not happening, then what is the case here? If you're it is not declining, then you're doing something wrong. Suppose you're drinking that cup of tea by spoon, so it won't give you satisfaction suddenly, because spoon is not a standard unit. Okay, standard unit a cup of tea and not a spoon of tea, and just like that, not a drop of milk, the entire glass of milk. Okay, it is like that, because a drop cannot satisfy you, a spoon cannot satisfy you. Okay, indeed, it is very natural to happen in the respect of all goods and services. It is therefore called fundamental law of satisfaction or law of psychological law. Fundamental psychological law. It depends on mentality of a person. Okay, earlier I given one example also. In case of cigarette, there is some product in the market which is. Now what are the assumptions over here? The two basic assumptions are: only standard unit of commodity are consumed, like a cup of tea and not a spoon of tea. Okay, so it is a standard unit like a cup of tea. The second one is consumption of commodity is continuous, one after the other you are consuming the cup of tea. Okay, so this you should remember, the standard one and consumption is continuous. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you.